Imagine what they could tell us.
I can't imagine. Neither could the humans that built this temple, and neither can you.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 historical events that were tied to aliens.
And the fact that they're buried in rock that is so old indicates that somebody sort of scattered them throughout the planet.
The only galactic system that matched was so far from Earth that there's no way that these primitive, ancient civilizations could have possibly known about it.
When you consider the vast amount of information about the Earth that's encoded into the Great Pyramid, you can't just dismiss all of this as pure coincidence.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most astonishing feats and events in history that people have explained by pointing at extraterrestrials. We're not going to confirm either way, so consider all this speculation. After all, it's not fair to say that it's aliens, but it's aliens. Fringe science or fringe comedy? Sound off in the comments. Number 10. The Roswell Incident. July 8th, 1947, USA. The popular obsession with UFOs only really kicked off in the late 1940s, thanks to sightings like Kenneth Arnold's on June 24th, 1947. A few weeks later, there was another incident that eventually became a conspiracy theory staple. In July, debris was found in a ranch close to Roswell, New Mexico. The Air Force stated that they'd recovered a flying disc, which they identified as a weather balloon. A resurgence of interest decades later eventually led to the U.S. Air Force admitting that it had really been a top-secret nuclear test surveillance balloon. But ufologists saw a cover-up within a cover-up. Reconstructed alien autopsy footage released in 1995 fanned the flames that it had been a close encounter of the third kind.
You two, you're at Roswell, Area 51. So what I want is a bit of pointing, yeah? A bit of nodding, yeah?
Number 9. Crystal Skulls, 19th century Germany. Let's be honest, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the 4th best Indiana Jones movie. However, it did revive a lot of interest in some curious artifacts that have popped up around the world since the late 19th century.
No more!
The purported origin of these hard stone carvings was pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, but that of course raises the question as to how such precise ornaments could be made without modern-day tools.
Its origin is unknown, and its powers, some say, are fatal.
Well, studies have revealed that they were made with modern jewelers' equipment, probably in Germany. However, some conspiracy theorists and members of the New Age movement hold that they have supernatural powers and perhaps even an extraterrestrial origin.
Where did they go? Space?
Not into space. Into the space between spaces.
Number 8. Teotihuacan, 1st to 6th centuries, Mexico. Although not the city's original name, the otherworldly nature of Teotihuacan feels fitting. Roughly speaking, it means the birthplace of the gods. This holy city is almost 2,000 years old, established in the 1st century and flourishing until around 550 AD. Already in ruins by the time of the Aztecs, the city remains mysterious, its people's origins unknown.
We do not know how they were able to develop a complete, huge, complex citadel in the middle of nowhere and able to sustain thousands of inhabitants.
This has inspired fringe theories that extraterrestrials played a role in the city's founding or day-to-day life. Proponents claim that liquid mercury discovered below the Pyramid of the Feathered Serpents is evidence that the city was a spaceport for ships using mercury-based fuel. Needless to say, archaeologists aren't exactly on board. Number 7. The Tunguska Event, June 30th, 1908, Russia. Imagine sitting in your Siberian home during the short summer of 1908 enjoying your newspaper when, boom! There's a huge explosion, you feel a blast of heat, and your windows are all gone. That's what happens to the people of Unicesc, after which the sky was lit up for days. The obvious explanation is a meteor strike, but there was no impact crater, just 80 million toppled trees. Scientists have suggested that an asteroid or comet exploded a few miles above the surface.
I think we'd all like to know what's in that rock.
However, it's been immortalized in science fiction as an alien crash site, or in the X-Files as a meteorite carrying alien microbes. Scientists were able to add more detail to their theories, however, in 2013 when the Chelyabinsk meteor did the exact same thing. Number 6. Moai, 1250 to 1500 AD, Easter Island. For believers, the stone statues that are synonymous with Easter Island have long been seen as definitive proof that the Earth has been visited by extraterrestrial life.
Build another one.
Carved from volcanic ash by the Rapa Nui people, they're believed to represent deified ancestors. The most baffling question is how they were transported. Researchers theorize that they could have been moved using wooden sleds and rollers or ropes to pull them from side to side and make them walk to their destinations. However, for fringe theorists, these stone monoliths are beyond the abilities of pre-industrial humans.
And the amount of patination suggests that they are infinitely older than 1,000 years.
Number 5. The Nazca Lines, 500 BC to 500 AD, Peru. These geoglyphs etched into Peru's Nazca Desert were thought to be trails or roads until they were seen from a plane in the early 1940s. Since then, historians have been beyond curious as to their creation and purpose. There are hundreds spread out across the desert floor, some of them simple lines, others complex geometric shapes, and animals.
Aquí tenemos un fragmento de cerámica que usualmente se encuentran en muchas partes en los geoglifos.
How were they made without seeing them from above? To what end? Scholars have proposed that they had astronomical or ritualistic purposes, or that they were created to be seen by gods in the sky.
From the ground, they don't look like anything. But from the sky, only the gods can read them.
But no one really knows, leaving plenty of room for theories that aliens lent a hand and even used some as runways. Number 4. Stonehenge, 3000 BC, England. There have been many suggestions as to how and why this prehistoric site was built. Chief amongst the more out there ideas is, you guessed it, aliens.
Could you all just stay still a minute, because I am talking!
Again, the reasoning behind this lies in the size and weight of the stones and how they've been so well placed to remain upright for thousands of years. The gist of this theory is that UFOs picked up the heaviest stones and laid them in positions best suited for celestial communication. Since the wheel hadn't been invented yet, and the blue stones came from 150 miles away, scientists are still trying to come up with a definitive explanation. If it wasn't aliens, then how about giants?
The fact that we now know that Stonehenge was part of a much larger superstructure indicates to me that we've only barely scratched the surface.
Number 3. The Nativity, circa 4 BC, Palestine. Religious texts are gold mines for people who believe that extraterrestrials had a hand in historical events. Common ideas include angels really being aliens,
I bring you love,
the flood being the result of extraterrestrial interference, and Sodom being destroyed by a WMD. Another such event is the birth of Christ. It's been suggested that Jesus was from space, or that the Star of Bethlehem was a UFO, an idea explored by songwriter Chris de Burgh in A Spaceman Came Traveling.
Then the stranger spoke, he said, do not fear, I come from a planet a long way from here.
Scholars have argued that the star may have been a celestial event or simply fictional. Believers in ancient aliens also point to art that supposedly shows flying saucers above religious figures. Number 2. The Pyramids of Giza, 26th century BC, Egypt. The Pyramids of Giza have always had an aura of mystery about them. From the allegations of curses on tombs to suggestions that they house sources of power, they've been enshrined in popular culture as otherworldly. As archaeologists seek to fill the gaps in our knowledge, fringe theorists have stepped in, claiming extraterrestrial involvement.
If you take the location of the Great Pyramid as a coordinate, this number sequence of this coordinate matches exactly the speed of light traveling through space.
It's been argued that ancient Egyptians couldn't have built such magnificent structures. Ergo, aliens. Truth be told, the method of their construction remains debated among researchers, although they have proposed various plausible theories involving barges, ramps, and ropes.
The Great Pyramid was built with a level of technological sophistication far in excess of anything that we have today.
Still, the theory of alien involvement remains popular. If the giant stone blocks weren't carried by visitors from another world, we'd bet that ancient Egyptian workers at least wished they were.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Life on Earth, 3.77 billion years ago. The idea that life on Earth could have originated elsewhere has actually been embraced by a number of reputable scientists, although it isn't the most popular theory.
Basically, it consists of silicate minerals, very much the same things we see on rocks on the Earth's surface.
Called panspermia, the notion is that a crashed meteorite could have brought microbes or at least the building blocks of life to our planet. The fringe version of this is that life on Earth was seeded by an alien race deliberately. Perhaps we're being studied as a sort of experiment or zoo.
When you look at the development of Earth, what you see is that at every stage, the planet got exactly what it seemed to need to develop into this beautiful blue world that we live on.
Some even go so far as to say that the biblical first humans, Adam and Eve, were created by extraterrestrial beings. Proponents also cite ancient drawings that seem to depict otherworldly beings. Hey, no one was there. Who knows?
I think they want us to come and find them.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.